Hi, it's Tootie Tagerly live from San Francisco, a little 12:30-ish on a Tuesday. And today we're going to talk about how to manage professional anxiety because it's a topic that I've seen come up with a lot of clients, especially with more recent tech layoffs, uncertainty about what's going to happen. And I thought it was particularly relevant to share given that I just gave my second TEDx talk this past weekend and struggled with pretty debilitating anxiety um, for the day before. So I wanted to really share 5 strategies and tools to use, which I believe are pretty helpful in managing professional anxiety and knowing what to do, whether you're struggling with trying to figure out if it's the right time to let someone go, how to have your team recover after layoffs, or it's probably roadmap planning season. What's the right thing to put on? How do you know what the right sequencing of it is? All of that can be triggers of professional anxiety. So little bit of a story. I Last Saturday I gave my second TEDx, "How to Reclaim Your Leadership as Asian American Women," and Friday I had just taken the red eye into Philly to go to Rutgers Camden, and my dress rehearsal, fully clothed, full light crew, all that. My dress rehearsal went terribly. It just went terribly. Yeah, there were a lot of false starts because the equipment wasn't working, quite properly. Nobody's fault. This is a dress rehearsal to try and figure that out. And, I think the biggest issue for me is it felt that I did 2 run-throughs. The first one was pretty terrible. There were 2, coaches watching me, and, I kinda got the a bit of a shit sandwich. The first one was pretty terrible, seemed forced, like, terrible overacting hand motions, but the second one was beautiful, perfect, right on, just, like, great messaging in the zone, and, I mean, I knew it. I had enough of that self-awareness, but my anxiety swirl was, "Oh my gosh. I just showed up with 2 different talks. How do I know if I'm gonna show up as Jekyll or Hyde, and how do I have some degree of autonomy and agency over it?" So in that scenario, wanted to use that as an example for really 5 strategies on how to manage professional anxiety. The first part, as with most things coaching and professional development related, is self-awareness. So know when you're triggered, know when you have anxiety, be able to monitor, recognize, and know that you might not be in a state where you can make cogent decisions, where you feel good, where you might trust yourself to make some of these good decisions. And it's simply noticing that you're in that state. So if that happens when you're at work in a meeting, the easiest way to do something about it is to really name it out loud. If you're in a roadmap meeting, could be something like, "Hey, this new piece of data really changes a lot of things, and it's affecting me a little bit right now. Let's take a 10-minute break and then come back and resume." So it's, you know, having that self-awareness. Oh, and I jumped ahead to number 2, which is once you have that self-awareness, then what you try and do is you switch up your context in some way. It could be as simple as, if you have anxiety in a meeting, excuse yourself to go to the bathroom. If you're running the meeting, adjourn for a little bit. If possible, might not be within the pace of how fast things work, but if possible, see if the conversation could resume the next day. Having some spaciousness and time to switch up your context for a bit will make things look different. It'll make the mental model, the headspace be able to shift, because when you're in that trigger state, you aren't able to think creatively, open up to see any solutions out. The other thing in terms of switching up your context, which worked for me, I went for a run, is to get outside, move your body, do whatever's possible. And even if it's as simple as doing, I don't know, 10 push-ups, holding a plank, something that will take 3 minutes between meetings, like getting into your body and physically feeling, shifting, moving the energy helps to switch up the context around being triggered and having that anxiety. Third strategy, always the superpowers of curiosity and creativity. It's diving down deep. Why is this happening? What's happening with for me? Very clear, high stakes presentation. I want to show up really, really well. So the curiosity is like, well, why what happened? What happened between the Jekyll and the Hyde rehearsals? Okay, what was going on? All right. If you can go down, why? It's like, well, I didn't feel that good. The first run's a dry run, the second one's better. Why? Well, I'm feeling terrible because I'm feeling in a vulnerable position and I didn't want to get that feedback at this time. Why? And sometimes when you go to the whys, the understanding without solving right now, just why understanding, that can shift your mind to be in a different place that is open to more different perspectives, which is the second part of it, creativity. And this one's very prescriptive. For me, I had a spare hour, so I went to the Philadelphia Institute of Art. For me, being surrounded by beauty, art, some Marcel Duchamp, like that opened up to me and was able to access that sense of wonder and awe and inspiration that helps shift a little bit out of the anxiety. And for me, there's something about being surrounded by others people's art. For some people, it's also being outside, seeing the stars that kind of makes this one itty bitty problem maybe seem a little bit insignificant. All right, how to manage professional anxiety. Strategy 4. Distractions could actually be a good band-aid. It's instant, it's just a band-aid, it's something to get you through that triggered period, and it's cool. You don't have to always do the perfect thing or act the perfect way. If you're intentional and know that you're deliberately doing something for the next 20, 30 minutes, next hour as a distraction, it's okay. For me, I'm on social media a lot. And one of the things I actually did was make a reel about wandering around Philly, going up the rocky steps, and you know uh, have some stories exploring the art museum. Am I saying yes? If you're anxious, go on social media. Maybe I just said that, but it's context. It's whatever distraction is going to get you through to a more calm nervous system. You can use that as a band aid. And then finally, look, you more than anyone else. You know what's worked best in your life to manage anxiety. Part of it's the remembering, the looking back, the last time this happened. What were the triggers? Who were the people around? What did I do? What were my own tools and rituals for calming me down? For me, it's moving my body, it's art. And I called a really, really good friend and was only on the phone with her for about 10 minutes, but it was calming. It was calming to know that, hey, I'm not alone, that this is a normal feeling and it's okay, and that I have the resources to reset and figure out what to do the next day. Um, End of the story. I woke up on Saturday, did some rounds of meditation and energy work, and yeah, it turned out to be one of the best presentations I ever gave. A happy ending to the story. Um, so when this happens, or look back to when this has happened for you in the past, what's worked for you? Remember that, put them in your toolbox, have your rituals, and do those again. Um, so today, shared about how to manage professional anxiety through the context of a recent TEDx talk that I gave. Also because, you know, this is a part of life. Anxiety is. It's something that I suffer from and have had most of my life. Um, there's often a lot of like happy, rah rah, positive content posted. I think that we're going to have the ups and downs. And so, 5 strategies for how to manage professional anxiety is self awareness, know when it happens, switch up your context, go to curiosity and creativity, distract yourself if you need to. Short term is a good band aid. And then finally, build the resilience, build the muscle, figure out what your own tools and rituals are um, to help you with this over and over again. All right, that's it for today. I'll be back next week. Bye.